Hi, this is Yolanda Van Veen, and in this segment we're going to talk about how to plant a raised vegetable bed garden. Now you can grow a garden pretty much anywhere you get sun. So whether you put it into the ground itself or make a raised bed, it's very easy to grow vegetables. Now a raised bed is pretty much anywhere where you've put layers of compost or potting soil over the ground and made the bed over the ground. And so it's at a certain level and it has great drainage. And you usually don't ever lose your plants that way. They get lots of heat and good drainage. And you can raise them up by just using pieces of wood or rocks or any way that you can give them a border, or just putting layers of soil on top of the existing soil. It's that easy. So when you're growing a raised vegetable bed, you create the bed by putting either 4x4s and making a square, or you can start with an oblong, any shape, and you just put good potting soil or any type of good mix. Compost alone works well too, but make sure it's really good and decomposed and very earthy because it needs good drainage. And you can use pretty much any type of vegetables that you want to use. My trick is to sit down and figure out what are your favorite vegetables and make a list, and then do a little bit of research and find out how they grow in your climate, and then start them by seed. And you can start them indoors if you live in a cold climate and you don't have a long enough season. For example, for watermelons, a lot of times they need at least 3 months of hot sun before they're going to grow. So if you live in a cold climate, you can start the seeds indoors and then put them outdoors, and that way you can benefit that way. So when you're planting them in a raised bed, make sure that you plant corn at least 2 to 3 feet apart. And if you have something like peas that go on a vine, make sure you've got something to vine onto, but they only need to be 3 inches apart. And if you've got carrots, they only need to be 4 or 5 inches apart. Radish is the same. And then lettuce, maybe 6 inches apart. And you can zigzag and do them in rows, and make sure that you give each vegetable enough room to grow. And another trick is I try to plant at least 3 seeds for every plant, because not all of them will make it, and that way you can always thin them out as well and take the strongest of the 3 to survive and just thin out the rest. And then water them at least weekly, or more than that if it's really hot. And just do the finger test. If it's really moist and boggy, you don't water. Wait for it to be on the dry side. Water only when it's really, really dry, and then let it kind of dry out in between. So by planting them and giving enough room to grow in between, you can grow a raised bed vegetable garden very easily.